You step outside, grab your poles, and instantly feel energized, ready for action. An hour of brisk walking goes by, and you're confident you've burned stacks of calories and strengthened every single muscle. But what if I told you that in all likelihood, 90% of that effort was wasted? That one single, yet almost universal mistake is turning this incredibly powerful fitness routine into just a simple walk, holding completely pointless accessories. Sounds provocative, doesn't it? Well, today we're going to talk about that precise mistake, the one that steals all the genuine benefits of Nordic walking. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will look at your walking poles with entirely new eyes. You might even feel, for the very first time, exactly how this system is supposed to work. Are you making this error? Let's find out together. Before we dive into the main error, let's take a quick second to look at the origins. Where did Nordic walking actually come from? Contrary to popular belief, it wasn't just invented for retirees. Back in the 1930s, Finnish cross-country skiers needed a way to train during the summer off-season to maintain their fitness. They started simulating their skiing movements using standard ski poles. The concept was genius. Training with poles allowed them to engage not just their legs, but the entire upper body, the shoulders, the back, the core, nearly 90% of the body's total musculature. Later on, towards the late 90s, this technique was adapted for mainstream fitness. The equipment was slightly modified, and it was officially branded Nordic Walking. The key idea from the very beginning was the active, powerful use of the arms, the forceful push-off, which creates that unique, full-body resistance. Understanding this makes it even stranger to see how many people simply ignore the very essence of the discipline. Right, let's get straight to it. The moment of truth. The number one mistake that completely cancels out all the wonderful benefits of Nordic walking. It's just passively dragging those poles along behind you. Let's paint a picture. One you've definitely seen down at the park. You see someone walking, and the poles are either just dangling from the straps, or they're barely scraping the pavement somewhere behind them. Their arms are bent at the elbow, the movement is sluggish, and there's absolutely no push-off happening. In this scenario, the pole isn't a tool. It's a hindrance. It's not actually helping. It's just tagging along for the ride. It's exactly like buying a top-of-the-range racing bike and cycling along at a snail's pace, never changing the gears. You are using only a tiny fraction of its potential. In Nordic walking, the pole is your engine. It's an extension of your arm that must actively participate in every single stride, creating extra momentum and engaging your upper body muscles. When you don't do that, the whole system just falls apart. You're not exercising. You're just out for a walk, essentially cheating yourself and your body out of the real workout. Let's dig a little deeper into the biomechanics of it all. Why is that passive arm movement so detrimental? When we walk normally, our body operates on the principle of reciprocal motion, or counterswing. As the right foot steps forward, the left arm comes forward, and vice versa. It's our natural mechanism for maintaining balance and achieving efficient movement. Nordic walking amplifies this exact natural pattern. When you step forward with your right foot, the opposite, left hand holding the pole, is brought forward. With the proper technique, the pole should be planted on the ground slightly ahead of your midfoot, at an acute angle. Then, as your body moves past the pole, you don't simply transfer the hand backward, you execute a powerful thrust. You are literally pushing off the ground with that pole, much like a cross-country skier propels themselves forward off the snow. This assertive thrust is the very heart of Nordic walking. It forces the contraction of muscles in your arms, shoulders, chest, and crucially, your latissimus dorsi, the broad muscles of your back. Without this essential push, the entire kinetic chain is broken. The arm simply swings passively, relying only on momentum, and the muscles of your upper body effectively switch off, remaining mere passive observers. Let's talk now about the most obvious benefit of all, the calories. A lot of people take up Nordic walking specifically because they want to shed a few pounds, and they are absolutely right to, because it is genuinely one of the most effective forms of cardio exercise available. But, and this is the big caveat, only if you use the proper technique. Studies clearly demonstrate that if you use the correct form, Nordic walking can burn up to 46% more calories than you were just walking at the exact same pace. Think about that. That's nearly 1.5 times the energy expenditure. Where does that huge difference come from? It's all down to engaging the upper body. That active push you give with the poles means you are doing significant extra muscle work. Your back, chest, shoulders, and arms. These are large muscle groups and they demand a lot of energy to operate. When you successfully activate them, your metabolism gets a serious boost and your calorie usage effectively goes through the roof. Now contrast that with simply dragging the poles along behind you. All that extra work vanishes immediately. Your calorie expenditure plummets, becoming comparable to nothing more than a casual, gentle stroll. You might be walking for an hour sweating away, but in terms of actual energy usage, you might as well have left the poles at home and just gone for a regular walk with the exact same result. Next up on our list of common mistakes, Nordic walking is often called a full-body workout, and that, I assure you, is absolutely true. If you are doing it the proper way. Forget that old myth that it's just about the legs. A powerful push off the poles is a proper strength exercise for the entire shoulder and upper body. Your triceps are working hard as you extend your arm at the end of the push. You engage the shoulder deltoids. Your major chest muscles are activated. And critically, and this is key, you bring in the latissimus dorsi, those important wings across your back. This combination builds beautiful posture, strengthens your muscle corset, and crucially, relieves tension right up through your neck and shoulders. Now, what happens when you simply drag the poles along passively? Nothing. Absolutely nothing we just listed takes effect. Your upper body remains entirely unused. You're simply loading your legs just as you would during a regular stroll. Instead of getting a comprehensive full-spectrum workout, you are only getting half of it, and a watered-down version at that. That desire to tone your arms, strengthen your back, and improve your posture remains just a wish, because the very tool designed to achieve those results is in your hands, but you are simply not using it properly. A lot of people believe the poles are just there to take the strain off your joints. And again, that's only partially true, and crucially, only if you are using the right technique. When you execute that active push, you are essentially suspending your body slightly, shifting some of your weight onto the poles. This genuinely reduces the impact shock on your knees, your hips, and your spine. This is absolutely vital if you are carrying a little extra weight or dealing with existing joint issues. But what actually happens if you do not push off? What if you just place the pole in front of you, like a walking stick? You are turning a dynamic tool into static support. Instead of propelling yourself, you start leaning on the pole. This completely changes the biomechanics of your walk. You might start to slump or fall onto the poles, messing up your natural posture and creating unnecessary strain in your wrists and shoulders. Instead of unloading your joints, you could end up overloading them, potentially leading to discomfort or even injury. Remember this crucial point. The pole in Nordic walking is not a crutch. It is a lever designed to push you forward and upward, using it purely as static support, as just something to lean on, is one of the biggest mistakes people make. Let's take a moment to discuss posture and breathing. The correct Nordic walking technique practically forces you to pull your shoulders back and stand tall. When you execute that wide, powerful backward arm swing and push firmly off the pole, your chest naturally opens up. You simply cannot achieve this movement if you are hunched over. In this way, the technique itself promotes healthy, correct posture. An open chest, in turn, allows your lungs to work at their full capacity. Your breathing becomes deeper and more rhythmic, and your body gets a much better supply of oxygen. This significantly improves both your stamina and your overall feeling of well-being. Now, let's look at the common mistake: passive movement. This means short, lazy arm swings, bent elbows, and no proper push-off. All of this naturally goes hand in hand with a slouched back and dropped shoulders. Your chest remains restricted and your breathing is shallow. Not only are you failing to improve your posture, but you could actually be worsening existing postural issues. Instead of taking in deep breaths and oxygenating your blood fully, you are creating an oxygen deficit. This severely reduces the effectiveness of your workout and can quickly lead to fatigue and tiredness. So what exactly does the proper technique look like? Let's break it down into the nitty-gritty details so you have a really clear picture. Imagine you are walking. As your right foot steps forward simultaneously, your left arm swings out in front of you, slightly bent at the elbow. Keep your hand relaxed. It should feel like a natural continuation of your forearm. The pole then plants on the ground at an angle, roughly 45 degrees. Now this is crucial. It shouldn't be vertical right in front of you. It must be angled. That specific angle is vital for the powerful push-off that follows. The moment the pole plants, you give the handle a slight squeeze just to steady it. Then your body's natural momentum carries you forward, passing the exact point where the pole is grounded. And this is where the magic happens. Your arm, remaining mostly straight, continues its swing back, extending well past the line of your hip. You transfer your body weight into the pole and execute a strong, deliberate push, like you are trying to drive yourself forward with real power. As you finish that thrust, your hand opens completely, and the pole is held only by the wrist strap or lanyard. This entire movement must be fluid, powerful, and use a full range of motion. Let's spend a moment focusing on your hand action. This is a crucial detail, really. The secret sauce, if you like, that many people overlook. The way you handle the grip directly impacts how effective your push is. Remember this very simple trick. Squeeze and release. When you bring your arm forward and plant the pole, you need to grip the handle firmly. That little squeeze creates a solid platform, ensuring all your effort is transferred straight into the ground. Now, as you complete the push and your arm swings back behind your body, your palm must open up completely. At this point, the pole should just be hanging loosely from the strap. Why is this important? First off, it gives your hand a split second to relax. This is essential for stopping that tension and tightness building up in your forearms and preventing early fatigue. Secondly, by fully opening the palm, you maximize the backward swing of your arm, which means a longer, more effective push overall. Think about throwing a ball. At the end of the throw, your hand opens up. It's exactly the same principle here. If you keep holding that handle in a really tight grip the whole time, your hands will tire out quickly, and your movement will look stiff and ultimately won't be effective. So remember this when you practice. Squeeze when you plant, release when you push. Another crucial part of getting the technique right concerns your feet and your body core. Remember, Nordic walking isn't just about swinging the poles. Your legs work differently here than when you're just out for a stroll. You should take a slightly wider step than normal, focusing on that crucial, accentuated heel-to-toe roll. That means you land gently on your heel first, smoothly shift your weight across the whole sole of your foot, and then give a final powerful push-off using your toes. This rolling action gives you extra momentum and, crucially, engages your calf and thigh muscles. Now, what about your core? You mustn't keep your body rigid or static. With every step and pole push, you should allow a slight, gentle twist in your waist area. This is a natural movement that engages your oblique muscles, the side muscles in your tummy, so you're getting a gentle ab workout into the bargain. When all these elements, that wider rolling step, the powerful pole push, and the subtle body rotation, merge into one smooth, rhythmic movement, that's when you're truly doing Nordic walking. It becomes a true body dance, where every part works in perfect harmony. So, how do you know if you are doing everything correctly? Well, there are a few simple ways to check. The first and most important indicator is feeling that definite push. You need to feel the pole plant firmly into the ground and actively propel your body forward. If you don't feel that drive, it means you are likely just carrying the poles, not using them for propulsion. The second check is how you feel after your session. You should have a gentle sense of effort, not just in your legs, but also across your upper back, shoulders, and triceps. If only your legs feel tired, it is a sure sign the upper body wasn't engaged properly. The third sign is your speed. When your technique is spot on, your average walking speed naturally increases compared to a regular stroll, yet you won't feel like you are working harder. Quite the opposite. You get this wonderful feeling of ease, almost like you are gliding. The poles feel like they are carrying you along. If you find you are walking slowly and it feels heavy or strenuous, your technique is probably off. A great visual way to spot your mistakes is to record yourself walking from the side and compare your footage with professional examples. It really helps you pinpoint where you might be going wrong. Let's take a moment to debunk a common myth that often prevents people from mastering the proper technique. The myth goes something like this: the harder you swing your arms, the better. Well, that's not quite the whole story. It's not the sheer force of the swing that matters. It's the correct structure and, crucially, the final decisive push. You might be vigorously swinging your arms back and forth, but if you don't incorporate an emphasized push-off at the end, you're really just going through the motions. Think of it like boxing. You can rapidly move your fists around your opponent's nose, but without the body rotation and the sharp extension of the arm, you won't deliver a true punch. It's the same principle here. Don't focus on the swing. Focus entirely on that push. Imagine you need to forcefully push yourself away from a wall situated directly behind you. All your attention must be concentrated on that final burst of effort, that crucial push. Not the simple swinging of your arms is what triggers the entire chain of muscle contractions, providing the true health and fat-burning benefits. Don't chase after external theatrics. Strive instead for the internal efficiency of the movement. Right then, let's get practical. How can we fix this rather common mistake? There's one simple, yet incredibly effective drill. Start off walking without your poles, but actively mimic the correct arm action. Take a nice big stride, swinging your arms actively, counterbalancing your legs. Your arms should be nearly straight, initiating the movement from the shoulder, not bending at the elbow. Feel that chest opening up and the gentle rotation of your torso. Next, pick up your poles, but crucially, don't slip your hands into the straps. Just hold them lightly in the middle, almost like relay batons, and continue walking, allowing the tips to drag freely along the ground. Your main goal here is simply to get accustomed to that wide arc of arm movement. Don't worry about the push-off just yet. Just ensure your arms are swinging freely and broadly. Repeat this process for perhaps 30 or 40 steps. This particular drill helps release any lingering muscular tension and prepares the body for proper movement. It successfully breaks that unfortunate habit of keeping your arms bent and tucked in close to the body. Right then, let's move on to the next practical step. Take hold of those poles properly. Thread your hands into the straps, nice and secure, but keep walking as you were, without actually planting the poles into the ground yet. Just keep strolling, maintaining that comfortable wide arm swing. Let the poles simply float back and forth, nice and free. Your main job here is to really feel the rhythm and synchronize your arm and leg movements. Remember the rule: right foot, left arm, left foot, right arm. The movement should become completely automatic, completely natural. Now, without stopping your walk, gently start lowering the poles so that they just begin to graze the ground. Do not try to push off immediately. Just let them draw light lines or scribbles on the pavement or the path. You should hear a soft, characteristic tapping sound. This phase is all about learning to place the pole down at the right angle and in the correct spot. It's the essential preparation for the actual push-off. Take your time. Keep going like this for 5 or 10 minutes until you feel absolutely comfortable and steady. Think of it like learning to drive a car. You need to get used to the size and feel of the vehicle first, then you can join the busy motorway. Right then, here's the culmination, the big moment. We are now adding the actual push. Keep up that steady rhythm we've established. As the arm holding the pole sweeps back behind you, start applying a little bit of pressure onto the pole. There's no need to put your back into it immediately. Start off nice and gentle, just enough pressure to feel that reassuring sense of support. You'll instantly feel this lovely little extra boost, propelling your body forward. Gradually, step by gentle step, start increasing the force of that pressure. turn it into a proper, confident thrust. Focus on the sensation. The energy flows right from your hand, through the pole, hits the ground, and then the ground pushes you along. Don't forget that crucial wrist action. Give the grip a gentle squeeze as you plant the pole, and then let your palm open fully as you finish the push. Try doing 10 steps focusing strongly on that push, followed by 10 steps in a completely relaxed, easy mode. This sort of contrast training really helps your body understand and lock in the proper movement much quicker. Remember, mastering any technique is a bit of a process, and it requires time and patience. Don't expect absolute perfection on your very first attempt. A very common issue, and often our fundamental mistake, is simply having the wrong length poles. If your poles are too short, you won't get a proper push-off. You'll end up hunching over and taking short, choppy steps. Conversely, poles that are too long will force you to hike your shoulders, strain those trapezius muscles at the back of your neck, and plant the pole too far out in front of you. And that completely throws your technique off balance. Now there's a simple formula for beginners. Take your height in centimetres and multiply it by a factor of 0.68, 0.68. The figure you get is the approximate length your poles should be. Most modern telescopic poles have clear markings, so setting the correct length really shouldn't be difficult at all. Here is the basic rule of thumb. When you stand up straight, relax your arms, and hold the pole grips, your elbow should be bent at roughly a 90-degree angle. That's your optimal starting point. Later on, as you master the technique, you might want to vary the length slightly, but you absolutely must start with this fundamental setting. Having the wrong equipment can truly be the root cause of poor technique. Let's talk about pace, shall we? Now, many beginners, in an attempt to correct those lazy arm mistakes, start rushing things far too much. They fuss, they take quick, short steps and tiny arm swings, and the final pole push ends up feeling cramped and totally ineffective. Remember this crucial point about Nordic walking. It's not actually about speed. It's about rhythm and amplitude, the full length of your movements. It is far better to go slightly slower, but ensure every step and every push is wide, powerful, and truly deliberate. Try walking along to music that has a steady, clear beat. Nothing too fast. Say around 120 beats per minute. This will help you find your groove and make your movements smoother and much better coordinated. Later on, once the technique becomes second nature, you can absolutely increase the pace without compromising quality. But initially, the priority must be the correctness of every single element. First, we build that solid foundation of technique, and then we start adding speed and intensity. Rushing this process is a direct route to cementing those old errors, or indeed, picking up new ones. Let's look at another little tip that people often forget about. Your gaze. Where are you actually looking when you walk? If you are constantly looking down at your feet, your neck and back automatically bend forward, your shoulders drop, and that puts your entire body into the wrong position. And when you're hunched over like that, it becomes virtually impossible to get that nice, wide arm swing or that strong pole push. That's just basic physiology. So, when you walk, keep your head up straight and focus your gaze forward. Try to look roughly 10 to 15 meters ahead of you. This simple change will help you maintain a nice straight posture, relax your shoulders back, and open up your chest cavity. Imagine an invisible thread connecting the top of your head and pulling you gently up towards the sky. It helps to stretch your whole spine upwards. This small shift in where you focus can fundamentally improve your technique and boost the overall effectiveness of your training session. Stop looking at your boots or the tips of your poles. Trust your body. It will find the right trajectory itself. Your main job is simply to give it the correct starting position. A common stumbling block is the fear of looking a bit silly or clumsy while you're getting the hang of the proper technique. All those wide arm swings and the active body engagement tend to attract attention, and that fear often makes people hold back, shortening their movements and making them less noticeable. The upshot, they end up right back where they started, just passively shuffling their sticks along. You must push past that worry, Remember, you are doing this entirely for your own well-being. Anyone watching you from the side falls into one of two categories. The first group knows absolutely nothing about Nordic walking, and frankly, their opinion shouldn't concern you in the slightest. The second group, however, understands the technique. When they see your correct full-range movements, they will think, now there's someone who really knows their stuff. You will be an excellent example to them, certainly not an object of ridicule. Take pride in the fact that you aren't just out for a gentle stroll, you are completing a proper, high-quality, and highly effective workout. Your health, your improved well-being, and your excellent physical condition are the very best answer to all the doubters. Never let a little bit of self-consciousness steal the huge benefits of your exercise regime. Let's paint a picture of the incorrect walker so you know exactly what errors to look out for in yourself or others. The arms are bent at the elbows and barely move, often limited to short, weak swings. The poles or sticks are typically dragging somewhere behind, completely uninvolved in the movement. The torso is rigid, the shoulders are slumped, and the back is often hunched. The steps are short and shuffling, lacking that clear heel-to-toe roll. The gaze is fixed downwards. While this person might manage to move quite quickly, their motion utterly lacks energy and power. Now let's look at the portrait of the correct walker. Their movements are wide and sweeping. The arms kept nearly straight, swing from the shoulder in a large arc. At the end of every backwards movement, you can see a clear, accented push off the pole. The torso rotates slightly, keeping time with the stride. The back is straight, the shoulders are relaxed and back, and the chin is up. The step is long, springy, and features that distinct roll of the foot. Their whole appearance radiates energy and ease. These are two completely different types of activity, yet the only difference between them lies in one key element, the presence or absence of an active push or propulsion. Right then, to wrap up this module, I'd like to give you a bit of homework. During your next workout, try concentrating entirely on just one thing, the pole push. Forget about speed, forget the distance you cover, and don't even look at the calories. Your sole mission for this training session is to execute 100, 200, 500. The number genuinely doesn't matter. Perfect conscious pushes. Feel the pole planting firmly into the ground. Notice how the muscles in your arm and back engage. Sense how that single push propels you effortlessly forward. Make this exercise your meditation. Just 15 or 20 minutes of this kind of mindful practice will do far more for your technique than months of just walking aimlessly. We need to permanently etch this movement into your body through muscle memory. Once that happens, you won't ever have to consciously think about it again. The correct technique will become second nature to you, and you will finally start reaping a full 100% of the benefits from every single minute you spend walking with your poles. That right there is the genuine key to mastering Nordic walking. Right then, let's wrap things up and summarize what we've learned. We discovered that the main mistake that completely undermines almost all your efforts in Nordic walking is simply not actively pushing off with the poles. This isn't just a tiny slip-up, it's a fundamental issue. It basically switches off 90% of the muscles you should be using, halves your calorie burn, and completely robs you of all the key benefits for your posture, your joints, and your heart health. We've gone over what the correct technique looks like, how to set up your equipment properly, and which specific exercises will help get you onto the right track. Now you're armed with the knowledge, and the choice is yours. Are you going to keep strolling along with the poles, or are you going to start really training and get the absolute maximum benefit from every single step? Remember this, Nordic walking is not about support, it's about propulsion. It's about strength, not weakness. Thank you ever so much for watching this video all the way through. If you found it helpful, please do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our future breakdowns. Now here's a question for you all. Be honest, have you noticed yourself or others making this mistake? This passive dragging of the poles? Share your observations and experiences in the comments below. Let's have a bit of a discussion.